jump right into it. Hello everyone, I'm Chadwick. Welcome back to Overstand, the channel with the best vantage point. Let's jump right into it. Today we're going to talk about support and resistance lines. Now, support and resistance lines are a key fundamental when overstanding the stock market and how to read the charts. So let's pull up our ThinkorSwim platform. We're going to go into charts. We have ZM already pulled up here. Zoom, ticker symbol ZM. So let's take a look at it. First thing you do when you pull up your chart, you haven't done any research on it, you haven't applied any support or resistance lines, is you're going to go into it and you're going to go to your time frame. Okay, right next to the gear, the settings gear, chart settings, we have our time frame. It's right now I have it in 1 day, 1 minute, meaning we're looking at a 1 day chart, and each candle is represented by 1 minute. So let's pull up our 180 day 4 hours. Okay, the reason why you want to go back so far, at least 180 days, when you're first gathering your information, gathering your intel on a current stock, to see what the current trend is or what the overall trend in that period of time is exactly for that, to have a good grasp, a good understanding on what is the trend line. Now, as you see here, I have a bunch of support and resistance lines from the past when I traded it down at these levels, under $100. It's really taken off since then. But if we look back here with these support and resistance lines I had, a support line is something that supports the candlestick, and a resistance line is something that resists the candlesticks. So it gives you a good understanding on what the stock's about to do. Is it going to reverse at the resistance line and be a reversal, or is it going to break through the resistance line, which is a breakout, and now that resistance line becomes a support? So let's see some examples here just from Zoom. I had a support line here at around 64, let's see exactly what it was, 64.73, and we could see it traded in between. I had a resistance line at 71.35, so we're supporting at 64.73, resisting at 71.35, and look how the candles trade in between it until it hit this resistance line and bounced back down. Okay, close enough to the support line, trading in between. It hits this resistance line several times until it breaks through it. Okay, once it breaks through it, we trade up above it. I had from the past, if we went back however many more days from when I first put these up, it was resisting at this line. Well, it didn't go all the way up there, it broke straight down through the support line, which now becomes a resistance line. Here's the new support line. Okay, look at this one red candle all the way through our support line, got back above it, struggling, it wants to go below it, nope, stays above it. Okay, stays above it until it goes right back above our resistance line and becomes now the current support line, all the way up to our next resistance line. Once again, support line, resistance, till it breaks through, it shot all the way through. Okay, so now if we wanted to identify new support resistance lines, because it's obviously changed, we could go in, we go to our drawings, And the drawing, I always usually keep it on as this trend line, this little wand right here, little pen, pencil. This is what I usually keep it on, but when I want to do some support resistance lines and want a nice straight line, I'll do this price level, the little line underneath the $sign. So if we click on that, we could start identifying some support and resistance lines. I'll take some tops here, so we pick the top here. So when trying to identify your support or your resistance lines, you want to find multiple occasions in your timeline where it hits, or it was a pivotal moment that it was struggling between going up and going down. Okay, so as we see right here where I made this line, we had a high right here, we had a bunch of struggle. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, high right here, high right here, highs up here, struggled till it broke through. Okay, so we have a pretty good identification here. We put a line here. Look at all the times it hit this mark up. It refused to go above that price level, which tells me that this is a strong resistance level. Okay, anytime it struggles to go up a certain price level, we see resistance there. We can identify that as a clear sign of resistance. And you'll see it repeating the pattern over and over again. Let's see, just right here in this area. We identified this as a resistance line, and look at all the times it resisted at this price level until it finally shot over it and got above this line. Not for long, dropped back down. What happens to a resistance line when the price goes above it? It turns into a support line. Look at how the candles support it now. Okay? Till it breaks through, look what it did. It hit our previous support line. This becomes a resistance. It broke right through it pretty easy. And look, it supports it again. Supports it. Resist. Look at all these resistance levels. Back down. Fake out. I call these little fake outs, these little wicks. Back up. See some struggle here till it breaks through. It's all about just gathering information. Gathering information on what this is doing. Okay? So you have a better idea in the future if you have these lines. Let's go look at Apple. Or here. So that's only the 4-year. If we take it down to 5-day, 5-minute, we get some good price levels as well. We always want to first find the lows and the highs and mark those out. Okay? So as we just marked this high, let's see what happens here as we zoom in. Look at from way back there, just by identifying the high. Look in this day alone. Yeah, it struggled to go above it, but it eventually stayed below it until it hit our EMA. Okay. The reason why we're going over support and resistance lines right now is because it's going to help us overstand everything else that we talk about in the future. Okay, this is something we need to understand at the very beginning to make everything else a lot easier. Okay, when we start going over our EMA and SMA lines, those are basically another form of support and resistance lines. That's exactly what they are. okay? And you'll see here, like as it came back down, this EMA acted as a support line. It's all going to start making sense. Each video, as we continue on, we're going to go over things little by little. I hope it's not too painful for you guys, but it's worth it because you will know what you're looking at by the time we're done as we progress through each video. So this EMA, as you can see right here, acts as a support line. And it's holding the support. It's holding the candlestick, supporting it up. Although it wanted to go down, nope, EMA supported it, took it back up, almost to our resistance line, back down. Look again, supporting it. Our EMA supporting it, took it back up to our resistance line, back down. Now look at these EMA SMA lines, supporting it. It's starting to pinch, right? Starting to pinch. We see the pinch with the EMA SMA lines, pinching with our own resistance line that we identified as it being a resistant level. And as soon as these pinch, it shoots it over, right? Look at how it shot it over. It continues to support off of the EMA SMA, right? Until it was too extended. Look how overextended it is. How do we know that? Look at, follow the line down. Follow the line all the way down. Look at our RSI. We have this red eclipse over the 70. We know that it's about to go down. And all these will start making sense to you guys, how to use them all together. Let's stick to support resistance lines, okay? So what do we have here? Let's zoom out. Let's go into, we're at a 5-day. Okay, so let's check out the 1 day, the current day. Okay, what is it doing today? What has it been doing the last couple days here? Let's look what it did yesterday first. All right, so this line still from way back then, however many days ago when we set this line, we could zoom out again, but that's not important. For how many days ago we set this line, it's still reacting as either a support or resistance line. It's definitely a pivotal price level of either rejection or run through, either a reversal, causing a reversal as it comes through and ends up struggling to stay above it, rejecting it, resisting it. Okay, so this acts as a resistant level. Okay, right around here, what do we see? I see a support level. Why? This is a high right here. Okay, so it already resisted there. It shows that is absolutely a level that resisted. Boom, it hit there, resisted, bounced back down. Right here to the low. Okay, I'm just going to put that line there. We'll see in the future if it comes back down to that line. We just throw them out there. It doesn't hurt anything. What does it hurt to throw a line? You can remove it. How easy can you remove it? You press right click, remove drawing. That easy. All I'm doing is double clicking here. We double click, we have our support line. So we know if it comes back down, breaks below this resistance line here, that we have something to know, rest assured, okay, we have a support line. It could drop all the way back down here. We want to keep an eye on it. That's what we're saying. So anyways, that's what it did here. It came back up. No problem. Was on a nice run breakthrough pattern as it broke straight through the resistance line all the way up here to this next resistance line. Broke through that pretty easy and came right back under. It again wanted to break through it. Broke back under. Okay. So what do we see here? Some more support and resistance lines. Okay. What do we see here? This is identifying some more. We could remove these, but we want to have as much knowledge on this stock when we're researching it as possible. Okay, so it broke through. We identify what it's doing here. It for sure resisted here again at the same place, or it supported here again at the same place. It resisted first thing in the morning. It supported it again. until it resisted up at this level that it resisted here. See how it repeats itself, repeats itself. It's pivotal moments. Look at here at this top, top, top. It's a clear sign of resistance until it breaks through. Now, look right here. If we follow down to our RSI, it looks like it's going to be a reversal, right? It's up over. These are the signs we like to see for it to reverse and go back down, right? It doesn't always have to do that. So you always have to have risk management. Something we'll get into in the future, but it's key to trading successfully, because you don't want to look at this one indicator and say, okay, I see a reversal here. I got a resistance line and it's really high. It doesn't matter. If we look right here, where was it? Right around here. Well, it did reverse a little bit right at this red as it wrapped around 276.90, and then it dropped down to 276.35. So you're looking at only around 60 cents, which is good. 30 cents to 60 cents is good. That's a good goal. Okay, depending on what you're trading, but in a dead market especially, if you could get 30 cents out of a trade, you're in good shape. Anything that's green is good. Okay. And what happened here with our EMA SMAs we have in place? They acted as a support line for us. Supported the candles. It's supporting the candles. Supporting the candles, right? Until it breaks underneath. And now the EMA SMAs act as if they are resistance lines. Look how they keep rejecting the candles, okay? You have to be able to understand how to read the charts together, okay? Each indicator that we put up, how do we read them together to come up with a conclusion of we want in or we want out? You will know. After these videos, as we progress in these videos, it's going to make more sense to you. This stuff's all going to come together, and pretty soon it's just going to be like a veil lifted from your eyes where it all makes sense. Okay. Looks as it continued. All right, so we're into the current day. So here's today, right? The 13th. What happened this morning? Started underneath the EMA SMAs, resisted it, pushed it all the way down to these current support resistance levels that we created a couple days ago, right? In the past. So it broke all the way through, a little faker all the way to this one, and stayed above, trading in between our support resistant, our EMA SMAs and the current support line. Broke through to the next support line. Look at how it just traded in between this little tiny support resistance lines we identified here again until it just broke through. See this EMA SMA is just pushing it down. Got to be able to read it ahead of time. Know what you're getting into. Wake up early. Okay. It's pushing it down through all the levels. Keeps pushing it down till a huge sell-off. Look what happens here with the RSI. RSI at this candle, we're looking real good for a nice reversal, right? And sure enough, boom, gets over. We know that this is a resistance line. We see RSI is really low. We want to see it start going back up, which it does right here at the end of this candle. And so if you got in right here, or even at this price level at 272.86, like, okay, if it goes above 286.86, I'm in. You know, you made it all the way to, you could have held on to it for a while. But even if it went up here, 274, where'd you get in? 272, here's $2. You know, right here, you see it start going down. Okay, it hit support. At least you have some comfortability. You don't feel so stressed out because you have this resistance line, this support line. Right now, if you're getting it over, seeing, okay, this is going to start going up. It is really oversold right now, and it's going to start going up. So you get in around here, and it does start go up. From right here is 272.52, and just this one candle, 273.42. That's almost $1. That's money in the bank. Nothing to be greedy about. Locking profits off of one candle, 1 minute in and out. It's perfect. That's perfect. But if you waited, came back down, a lot of times it hits this resistance line again. I'll take my other half position. So a lot of times my first position is just half my position. It'd just be, if I want 200 shares, maybe I'm only going 100 shares here, just to make sure that it's doing what I'm doing. I see it bounce here again, and I take that as a sign like, okay, let me just get in with my full position here. It's giving me another chance, take my full position, and then look what happens. Boom, off a quick. I would probably sell right there unless it was happening real quick. I mean, it dropped, came back up. But even off of here, if we had full position, 272.89 comes up here, 274.02. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. You just averaged up just a little bit, the 86 from 56. It's good stuff. It's easy stuff. As we continue through the day, let's see what happens. It really wanted to break through this. It really wanted to break through this support level. Excuse me. It really wanted to, but nope. You got to be patient. Sometimes, don't be too scared. How much did it go down underneath it? From 86 to 18. Whoo, 70 cents. That's hard to stay through that. Don't know if I would. But if you did, boom. It was just a fake out. This was a good resistance. It wanted to stay up. It wanted to go down, but nope, the market wasn't having it. Stayed up, wanted to go back down again. Nope, market wasn't having it. Now, all I had to do was get above the EMA, SMA lines to sustain the drive upward, okay? And what do we see after a good reversal? Higher highs, right? Here's a high. From here, here's the low, right? High, higher high, higher low. First low, here's really the first low. Second low, third low, fourth low, fifth low, right? High, high, higher high, higher high, higher high. We see a trend developing, okay? And as we see that trend developing, we see it start breaking through resistance lines. It struggled here for a while. It wanted to, kept struggling. EMA, SMA was sustaining the drive upward until it pinched. See how it pinched right here at our current resistance line in the moment? We have a little gap here with the EMA, SMA. We see the drive. The trend is now reversed, going up. Which direction are these lines going? They're going up. That's how we identify. The trend is your friend. The trend is your friend. And these lines are trend lines. So if they're pointing up, that's one confirmation of the direction it's going. Okay? Until it finally pinched at our resistance line, right? Struggling. Oh, the room is real little. EMA, SMA is catching up. It pinches and boom. Pops like a bubble and just shot up. It caused it to even go through our next resistance line, all the way to our next resistance line. Until it resisted that, boom, only came back down to our EMA, SMA. Resistance line. Support is now EMA, SMA. Hits this support line until it solidifies above it, and EMA, SMA still pushing it up. What happens when it drops below our EMA, SMA? We have another support line here. identifying support and resistance lines are key, fundamental in understanding the stock market and how to read the charts. This is why. Look at how many times today it hit our support line from days prior. We are identifying that. We weren't identifying it for today. We're identifying it from several days prior. And look how it continues to support these price levels every single time. You see this? Look at these. It's supporting it, supporting it, supporting it. EMA SMAs are acting as support lines when it stays above it. Okay? We're going to get more into it. I'm just and only right now trying to help you guys understand support and resistance lines. As we go along in future videos, everything's going to tie together with the EMA, SMA, MACD, RSI, support, resistance. It'll all tie together. So I don't want to bounce around too much. Try to keep it as simple as possible, okay? We will go over these EMA, SMAs on how it makes sense, why we see these as support and resistance line. We'll go through it all, but little by little, right? Little by little, it'll start making sense. It just keeps supporting, right? Drives it up. And I believe this is the current day, right? Yeah, this is the current day. Okay, let's go back in. Whoops. Okay, so can we zoom in again? So we're following it. It hit our highest line, and that resistance line now became a support line. Many times, many candles, each 1 minute candle, right? Yes, we're in 1 day, 1 minute. Each candle is a 1 minute, and it kept on supporting at this price level of 276.24. Is that correct? Yes, 276.24. Supports, EMA, SMA, supporting it as it drives up. Let's continue on through the day and see what happens. Okay, let's see what happens. EMA, SMA is really supporting the uptrend until it hit the high of the day of 281. And what do we have here at the high of the day of 281? What do we see on our why is that so hard to say? On our RSI. On our RSI. What a tongue fool. Okay. We see it eclipsing the 70, right? What do I mean by 70? Okay. 70, this yellow line, the top yellow line on the RSI is 70. The bottom yellow line on the RSI is 30. And guess what those are? Support and resistance lines. That's exactly what it is. Okay, the top 70, the top line, the 70 is our resistance line, and the bottom one is our support line. Now, when it's high above the resistance line, the 70 on the RSI, it's a good sign of reversal. Okay, and so what do we see here? It eclipses. I like seeing the reds. That's an indicator. That's a confirmation, right? As it starts going down, you see it start going back down. This line was pointing up. Oh, eclipse. Okay, keep an eye on it. I want to see it start to point down. It's starting to point down. This is a good time to short it, right? Because what do we like to do? Trade in between that 70 and 30. That's the support and resistance line, the 70 and the 30. If it's at the 70, I'm going to short it down to the 30. Then I'll buy it back. Unless I was already in at the 30, bought it long, it hits that 70, sell it. Good enough. You're good. So if you were sticking straight to that and you shorted here and waited all the way till until when? You could feel safe enough till it hit the 30 and hit the blue. That it eclipses with a blue line at the 30. Okay, if you stuck to that at 281, say that you got in 280.73 around here, okay, and you stuck it, said I'm gonna wait till it gets down to the 30. What are we at? 280.71, 280.71 to this candle, 276.60, 276.60. Okay. Woo, there's a good $4. Easy. Okay. What happens here? Supporting it? Nope. We see these lines are starting to curve. They got underneath it. The lines got above it. What is that a sign of? It's going to start pushing and driving it down, especially when we're already so high. The algorithm's already telling us what it's about to do. Hey, here's the indicator. Warning, ding, 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 ding. It's letting you know what it's about to do. It's at its high. It should start reversing. Okay? So that's one indicator on the RSI alert. Okay, we got one indication. Now we need to see if it drops below the EMA SMA, we start seeing lower lows. I'm gonna take it short here. If it does that, I know it's the right thing. If it kept going up, I would have got out. That's how you manage the risk. It doesn't always have to go the way that you think it's going to. These indicators just give us a high probability of being able to see what it should do. Okay, doesn't mean it has to, doesn't mean that it will, but what I found in doing this over time is that majority of the time my indicators are accurate and they do what I'm seeing that they're going to do. Okay, so now that it gets underneath the EMA SMA, that's strong confirmation that we're gonna start pushing it down. And what does it do? The support that's been supporting it this whole time until it hit this high on the RSI. Look how high we are above this purple line right here. We're real high as it starts curving, going back down. These are signs now we're seeing a downtrend, right? Yep. Until it gets underneath this purple line. Look at, okay, it's a future to come, but it was supporting until it gets underneath. Everything's starting to show downward trend. Our candlesticks are underneath EMA SMAs that are now going to act as if they are resistance lines, and that's exactly what they keep doing, right? They hit this one a little bit, resisted, nope, not allowing you no more, resisting you shall not pass, goes back down, nope. Look what's happening with these EMA SMA lines. The way I got them set up, we see a squeeze, right? These coming down, this one acting a little bit slower and reacting, because even though this is my EMA line, which is an exponential moving average, which does move faster, I do have this one. If you look up at the same color of the line, it's a 30 0 instead of a 9 0. So it moves a little bit slower to the market. It gathers information from a broader spectrum from 30 days instead of 9 days. So it's going to be a little bit slower. What does it do? It causes a pinch right here, squeezes it, boom, shoots underneath, right? We have clear indicators. So it continues to resist. These act like a support line when it gets above it, but they're still resisting here. Resists it so much it gets back underneath here. Look at it, just keeps resisting it. All this stuff's going to start making sense to you guys. And look what it goes down to. I'm seeing this with you guys live, okay? I haven't looked at this chart and done these today. This is all fresh, okay? And look what happens here today. So as it resisted until what?